Alrighty, let's install some vinyl plank flooring in one crusty, dusty college house. Okay, so typical Northeast Ohio landlord wants to go ahead and cover these dirty floors with some new floor, and we're going with vinyl plank flooring. Why? Because it's waterproof, it's scuff proof, and it's crusty college kid proof. So how do you get started? We're just going to throw some planks out on the floor. We're going to start a little pattern here, and we're going to start locking them into place. So for me, I like to find the straightest walls in these jacked up houses, and we're going to grab the straight wall and we're going to run right off of that. Now, if it runs off, within a 1/4 inch, meaning if the walls are running at angles, find the one that's going to be the straightest. And like I said, may run off within a 1/4 inch. That's fine. The quarter round will hide any, defects, runoffs, whatever. Now, locking them together, we want to get a nice stair type stagger going. So on these 4-foot planks, we want to go ahead and cut about 1.5 feet off, and then we'll cut 1.5 feet off, and then 1.5 feet off, staggering them all the way down. Now, got our first one, got our stagger started. So far, so good. Now, what's our next move going to be? Once we know that they're locked in, we're going to go ahead and get another step going. And I like to get the stagger started to kind of set the stage for where I'm going. And if it's the first time you've ever installed vinyl plank flooring, just know your first 3 rows are going to be the most difficult. Once you get those locked in, though, you're going to be smooth sailing. Everything gets easier. Because when you're locking in your first 3 rows, they could pop off easily if they bump the wall when you're tapping them together. Trying to get them all to lock and work in unison. Not the easiest thing, especially if you're a newbie. But like I said, once you get 3 of them, they work pretty well together and you can keep pressing forward. Yeah, I mean, look at this place. Yeesh. And people pay $50,000 a year to send their kids to some average colleges. Anywho, let's go ahead and get that next one locked in there. So these are nice little interlocking vinyl plank floors. I forget what brand this is, just some knockoff, whatever, cheap stuff. And that is probably the easiest products to install because they're really pliable. In most cases, you just kind of lock them into place with your hand, take a hammer, give it a little basic tap tap, and you're good to go. Now, as far as your tools on this, I like to have a pry bar on standby, obviously a knife, a hammer, and then what we do is we take a tap block. You see what I'm making right there? This is going to be a dummy plank. I just use that rather than buying the actual tools for installing vinyl plank flooring. And I'm a quote-unquote pro. I don't know that I am a pro, but I've been doing it for millions of years. So we still don't buy any of the fancy tools. We keep it real simple in our world. Just tap it together, and when it drops down into place, you know it's locked and secured. You just work your way down that seam there. And like I said, once it drops all the way down, you know you're good to go and move on to the next plank. So let's lock that on, see if we can get this to secure a little better. Tap, tap. See how I'm saying? First 3 rows, you hit it too hard, the other one bounces out. So you got to work with everything. Then we're going to go ahead and set that at the end there. Use my foot to lock it down, tap it that way, and clack-a-clack. I'm going to get that secured and continue moving on. But really, that's all there is to it. Just creating a beautiful stagger, fighting through your first 3 rows because there's nothing fun about that. And once you have those first 3 set up, you can fly through your installations without a doubt. Once those first 3 are together, everything will work with you rather than against you. And the only other tricky parts are going to be your cuts at the opposite wall. And I've created several videos and many more to come on how to cut those really fast and drop them into place. But the best part is the tools, hammer, knife, pry bar, you're good to go. Now you can install like a pro.